the Trump administration, the NIH is pulling funding, or at least expected to pull hundreds of millions of dollars in funding for what they call unscientific, unreality-based studies. Most of these LGBTQ2 alphabet letters of all sorts, specifically targeting stuff for changing genders in adolescence. Everybody thinks that this is probably reasonable, but libs are freaking out. The New York Times had a big, long piece basically telling everyone to panic. Andrew, is the panic justified in this? It feels like, hey, there's a bunch of studies operating on premises that aren't even based in reality, and Trump's like, no, we shouldn't do that. Is this a justifiable position to take politically, you think?
Well, let's call this what this is. So he's taking away money for gender reassignment surgery, whether it's a study that leads to that. But I look at all of this within the construct of this is just studies related to mental illness. So if we take the 800 million or the amount of money that he's removing and we actually just apply it to studying mental illness, we can still say that it falls under the umbrella of LGBTQ plus 9. So look, it's a win-win for everybody. We just got to put the money in a category in which we understand what is driving this mental illness, and say we're moving the money from gender reassignment surgery to actually fixing the problem that, or with all of the issues that they're having, we can combine two problems into one. We can take the people that are freaking out about this and we can place 2 or 3 of them, because there's probably only like 600 people anyways, across each 300 of these bodegas. And just by virtue of their presence, crime will go down in those stores.
Yeah, I don't hate that. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Alex, you get a lot of heat, especially online, from the LGBT. Andrew, you did a very good job at pronouncing all those letters, by the way. I can never get it right in my head. The alphabet people, as they're affectionately called. Are they going to continue panicking after this? What do you think the reaction online, or even in serious forums, is going to be from Trump pulling this funding?
Well, Joe Bob, I get accused of being anti-LGBTQ all the time, and people call me a xenophobe. But, the idea that I could be anti-LGBTQ is impossible, considering I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've been a Dallas Cowboys fan my whole life. And so there's no bigger amount of gay pride that I could have, than that. So for the LGBTQ mafia to come after me, it just shows you that they don't really know the real Alex. So, I honestly, if you really ask me, when it comes to all this trans stuff, there was a medical application a long time ago, and I do a lot of these debates. There are very few amount of people that are born intersex. And when that is the case, in that instance, you do want to affirm their gender at a young age. But we don't really need many studies. Unless that's the case, if you're under 18 and you're not born intersex, it should be illegal. They don't even need to do studies. They should be like studying cocaine or studying murder. I mean, it's just saying we don't need to do a study. We already know that if you're under 18 and you're cutting off your genitals, you're making a lifelong decision that you're going to regret for the rest of your life. So I don't even need these studies. It's a waste of time, in my opinion.